I won!
I'm too busy watching stuff being power jetted. Ooh, somebody jetted a dick butt into the sidewalk.
Dick butt?
Okay.
Yeah.
Do I want to know?
It's the dumbest meme ever, and I saw it and just started laughing when I saw this. Like, oh wow, this is so stupid.
Really? Cold turkey, cold start? Why not? You don't have to be funny or fantastic or stupid every week. Welcome to PrinnyCast Roundtable, a casual weekly show where we talk about what we've been up to and the various gaming-related stuff from over the last week. We're your hosts. I'm Chris. This is Grover.
Hello.
This is Mike.
Dick butt.
Oh boy. And there's Ed is with us chatting with tech messages right down through there, and no complaints about the new setup. I'm happy and surprised about it because it actually had me worried, but there will be some video popping up into that top corner when there's something actually relevant to the conversation to show. So when we're talking about a specific game, we'll actually show that now instead of just completely black, because that was just a little too much, especially when we're talking about something that's not common knowledge. So hopefully that little thing will ease my concerns, not be any big whoop to YouTube or the editing process, because boy, did that go really fast. Not having to edit a whole bunch of stuff. Yeah. I mean, having an upload that goes up in 40 minutes instead of 6 hours for the same length, that is amazing.
That upload would have been like 3 minutes for me.
Yeah, but it is kind of a boring watch, but no complaints, so I guess that's okay.
Stay a while and listen.
Indeed, we did kind of originally start off as what was supposedly a podcast just on YouTube in the first place. We just put the video to make it interesting. So we're kind of going backwards rather than forwards in that department, but it works out. And yes, welcome back, Mike.
Thank you.
And quite a week back there with back to school, keeping you kind of late.
Oh, gosh, I don't even want to talk about it.
Getting the supplies to children so they can go to school and have their happy little souls broken.
Yeah. So, how about talking about what you've been playing all this time, Mike? You got like a month of games to catch us up on.
Well, that's kind of the sad thing. I really didn't play that much outside of my normal zone because I just haven't had the time. I mean, World of Warcraft. I feel like there was something else I played. I don't remember what it was because it was much earlier in the weeks.
Plural. Parenthesis S.
I did download. And this is important because I am going to play this pretty soon. Probably the best game ever, or so I'm told. Marlow Briggs for Steam. I downloaded that.
I've heard of it, but I haven't played it yet.
I bought it during the Steam sale because it was $1.
It can't top Matt Hazard Eat Lead. I'm sorry. There's no way.
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, it seemed pretty ham-fisted there. But yeah, other than that, I mean, I've of course kept up with Hearthstone. They've been releasing the new expansions, so I didn't play this week's yet, so I am behind on that, but just haven't had time. I'll probably play it at some point later tonight. Le gasp. You've obviously been playing a little bit of Earthbound, because I heard it playing in the background there while we were setting up. Yeah, that was like the first time, that couple of minutes that you heard, that's the first time I played it in a couple of months. Or honestly, since it first came out on Virtual Console, I downloaded it, I played it for, I don't know, 30 minutes, and then I put it away. I thought you were playing that for like a couple of weeks early on. That's why we were kind of surprised when you were still early in the game. It must have been a different game I'm thinking of. No, that was my Super Nintendo copy, which is why I never really played the Virtual Console version. But I did buy it. I wanted to be like, look, there's people interested in this, please make another one, or make Mother 3 available. So I'm really wanting that. I'm really hoping they do that. They probably still have the original code for Earthbound 0. They couldn't have made the emulations off of that old cartridge as they didn't, so it shouldn't be that hard to convert it too. Yeah, I'm hoping. I mean, I really am.
Yeah, I played and beat Mother 1. That English pirated version, because I can't play Japanese version. I'll learn Japanese. I wouldn't be able to do the Japanese one either. I downloaded a long time ago the ROM hack that makes it English, but I never really played it that much. I think I actually downloaded it again recently. That was for the third one, though, wasn't it? I downloaded for Mother 1. I beat the entire thing. It was actually way harder than Mother 2. Considerably harder. Well, considering how boring my What Have You Played has been, what have you guys been playing? Spring my throat. Okay, not choking that. Good news. You've been playing the Flim game? Yeah, the Flim game. I was playing that. The Can You Still Breathe game. That was a Sage and Earthworm Jim, wasn't it? Oh, yes, it was, actually. First, I was playing Field Runners 2 because the game decided to wipe my information because I hadn't played it in a while. And I'm almost back to having all the towers again. I'm still just kind of utterly confused. I sent a support thing to them. That's never going to get answered. The game's completely abandoned, as I thought. Then I've been playing a lot of Final Fantasy XIV, getting my Atma weapon, my My Black Mage is officially stronger than my healer now, so I can abandon my healer, which used to be my main, and go stomp things into the ground as Black Mage, and Dragoon, because my Dragoon is the same level as well. And then I played Kerbal Space Program, and that's just trying to learn how to become more efficient with my rockets, because I get sick of going to the Kerbal places and showing my rockets, and some dickhead always comes on and it's like, well, I could get to the moon with a tenth of that, and I always cast a reply with whoop-de-doo for you, and I always get in trouble, so I'm just, they're trying to give me more advice on how to make the rockets more efficient and stuff, because, yeah, I could do the exact same thing with them, but my rocket's about 40 times bigger, and now that everything costs money, those rockets are impossible to build now. You have to be efficient.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I played some RoboCraft, but only briefly, because I didn't really play it much this week. I just didn't really have any interest for it this week. Then I started playing Team Fortress 2 again, and it's funny that that game never changes. That game's always exactly the same every time I start playing it.
Except for new hats.
Oh, and all the new hats and all the new items and stuff. It's just like sometimes something happens and I'm just like, what the hell just happened? Like when a spy backstabs you now, sometimes you freeze. He turns an ice cube, and all I did was basically get my scout, grab my fish weapon, and proceed to jump up beside snipers and beat them to death, which gives them the fish death, which is kind of embarrassing that you got beat to death as a trout.
Holy mackerel, Batman.
Yeah, oh yeah, it was a mackerel. You beat him and it kind of does exactly that, and the music too. Yeah, I am quite mean as a scout. I was thinking of doing spy, but I was just like, I'm rusty on spy, and you don't just go back into spy like that. It doesn't work like that at all. So
it takes finesse.
Yeah, it takes a lot of finesse and time and retraining. So I was just like, no, I'm just gonna stay with scout and maybe pyro when I'm really bored and just want to see people die. Then I just play time, and that's the same as usual. I think I jumped another million this week in power, but shit's becoming really, really expensive in that game.
Yes.
And the blacksmith is now starting, like, except for on Thor's Day, everything takes more than a day when I upgrade it. It's just like, oh, goody, I can do this all tomorrow now.
Facebook timers for the win. Woo!
Mm-hmm.
Thanks, Farmville.
And that's that for this week. That's actually a really gamey week. And on top of writing and editing, it's just like, how the hell did I play that much?
It's going to sound a bit like that when I go through my list, too. It's a bit on Congregate and more Tynan Hall as I finally get back to building the character normally like everybody else, so I don't fall any further back behind, because I got that Chimera ride that paid 4 billion coins for, and that is no small feat to gather that much, even at the high level that I'm at. So after all those months of saving, and then the 400 million more I had to pay to transmit my former ride's stars over to it, I basically 4.5 billion for 12,000 hit points, which is a lot, but no, that hasn't paid off so far.
What? No, that doesn't sound like it paid off at all.
But it'll pay off down the road, because when everybody else gets capped off by their mounts, mine will keep going for a longer time. So
it's the best in the game.
Best in the game. And then more Steam games. Played a little more of XCOM the Bureau, but I don't think I got much more than maybe half the stage done on that. Tried out a bunch of games, though, like Planets Under Attack, which I was disappointed to discover was one of those cell games, the type that, not cell phone, but the type where you have like a zone and then you draw your troops that's inside this sphere or block or whatever the particular game is, and you kind of divide them between the zone you're at and the zone you're going to. It's super simple. They're all over the Flash game freebie stuff like Congregate, so this is probably the fanciest version I've ever seen of it, but that's still kind of disappointing. And then Galactic Civilizations 3 just came out fairly recently, and it's surprisingly exactly what it sounds like. It's basically Civilizations, only it's with galaxies and spaceships instead of like knights and settlers, and continents. It might be up your alley, Grover. You should probably check into one of those. Picked up King of Fighters 13 to play in the same bundle that all the rest of that came with, and SNK, you and your absurd over-the-top difficult fighting game bosses. He only needs 3 moves, can be on the easiest level, and still wipe the floor with you, simply because there is no dodging them, and there is no blocking them. You just get hit by them. So it becomes more of one of those kind of like infinite runner games where you have to memorize the pattern in between, and be very precise about it, too. So that's lovely. And then there was also Deadlight, and I tried out just last night, and boot to the head to the programmers for not explaining the whole kick tutorial thing. That was irritating.
To the head.
Yeah.
Oh, that reminds me of that video. Pick with you, a boot to the head.
That was the one time I actually needed the tutorial to say something, and maybe it was just a glitch in my copy, but I reran the same area over because I quit there. I could not figure out how you're supposed to do this kick that it wanted me to do. And I had to look it up because I replayed it from a previous save point and no tutorial for for it. So nice job, guys. But other than that, it's a pretty
do this thing we haven't taught you.
moody platformer that I know is pretty well beloved. I know Mike liked it when he played through it, I think.
Yes. Yeah, it was very good. I never did finish the super hard mode.
And by you can get King of Fighters 13, Galactic Civilizations, Deadlight, and all that stuff, plus stuff like Terraria and Adventures of Van Helsing at the Humble Bundle right now. So go gets. Also, a couple of little indie titles that I played, like MacGuffin's Curse, which is a pretty simple and very stiff puzzle adventure kind of game that featuring werewolf curses and moving boxes, and yeah, all your probably least favorite parts of Legend of Zelda. And I beat a short detective adventure game called Hotel this week as well. But that was a very short game, had some odd hang-ups, but there was so much Prinny Plays material in that thing that I'm definitely going to have to do that one eventually. But yeah, I know, no gameplay video this week, and a lot of that had to do with software malfunctions that was actually away from PrinnyCast stuff. It kept workflow from being very flowy. So, and yeah, that pretty much takes care of everything I've played this week. So we've got quite a list there, even though Mike's wasn't very long.
No.
But yeah. So our topic was going to be something completely different. I've actually pulled this back because I know this is going to be a very dividing conversation when it starts coming up, and it's going to be more than often than not anymore. And we've touched on the basis of this a lot over the last 2 years because it just will not leave the gaming industry alone. And I think it's about time that we stop kind of shying away from it. And was that a sigh or?
No, I was breathing in. I forgot to take my Allegra today, so.
Oh, sorry.
My nerd allergies are kicking in.
I thought it was a sigh too. I was like, oh crap!
But there is just a lot of controversies over the politicizing and the lobbyizing and just the outright constant whining and crying that sometimes is properly motivated, but more often than not, it's over the most stupid things imaginable. And I think there just needs to be a call to sanity more often. And we've always tried to keep the show out of that kind of stuff because it is so divisive? Divisive? Whatever that word is. And I know my views are not the most popular ones, especially from what I've seen on comments on the internet. So
most people know pretty much where we stand anyway.
I think so. But that's the weird thing. We're all three from very different kind of backgrounds, and we still end up kind of agreeing with each other more often than you might think we would. So that's kind of odd. But yeah, we're basically talking about all the controversies that's been popping up over the video gamedom about largely the racism and the sexism and the alleged bigotry of sorts. All of this type of stuff that is very big in the media these days. And I've understood that a lot of this is just places like Reddit and Twitter and media outlets that are blowing it out of proportion. But the problem is more and more game companies are being affected by it, and they're having to respond to it. And if it's getting to that point, it's getting to that point where we need to actually start dealing with it too. So be forewarned, we may actually start getting a little political on the show from here on out. But instead of just dropping it on today, because these guys, we've not really kept in touch a whole lot this last week, so there was no real planning for it, and I decided it would be better than to just go on with something a little easier and lighter instead of just dropping this bomb on top of them when they're not prepared for it. So we will do something. We'll do something a little less controversial and go with video game movies.